the security, the sub-county security team or county security team, the judiciary, and the DPP. And sometimes the back and forth is because the DCI officer who is doing the investigations, there's a DPP sitting somewhere waiting for the file, and then, you know, there's no interaction, there's no conversation. Then the matter is called to court, and because there is no general conversation around with the magistrates, there is a dysfunctional system in the county. But I found it very interesting in a place, for example, in FÍGHT, where people are praising the magistrate, that we are working together with the magistrate and we've been able to reduce cases of gender-based violence, especially defilement in that particular place. And in some areas where the court users committees are working, the delivery of justice is really wonderful. Part of the reasons why people are refusing to work together, you will shock you. You will find in our ministry, the chiefs are supposed to work with the OCS, but they refuse to work together. And we found in one of the counties, I think it was Kakamega, in a place in Butere, that the chief says the real reason why they're not working together is not because of even their big persons, no. Because you work in silos so that you collect your bribe independently, you know? So if they end up working together, you know, so everybody's saying, I'm the one who is in control. You know, I'm the one who's control. If the police officer, the OCS is telling the chief, telling the brewer of the illicit, whatever, changa and so forth, illicit alcohol, he's telling them, don't worry, that chief has no powers. Wewe tu akushike, akulete hapa, I will release you, you know? Because he knows, so he's telling this one, don't pay the chief. Just pay me, I will, and allow the chief to bring you here, I will release you, you will go. We also found in some cases that it is the DPP wants the DCI to continue struggling at the corner there on his own, and then when he brings the file, because the DPP officer at that level has been compromised, he will not approve prosecution. So no matter what the DCI has done, even if he has done a very good job, the DPP is not approving. Meanwhile, in some cases, the magistrate has already been compromised on the other end, even if a matter comes before court. So some of the reasons why people are not sitting together is because if they sit together, there will be greater accountability and corruption will be dealt with. And I think it is time we need to strengthen the court users committees and bring them together so that we can resolve problems that are affecting the people of Kenya. And the IG will tell you, there was a time the administration police officer and the National Kenya Police Service officer were not working together. But when him and his team tried to push them to work together, there were greater results and so forth. And they learned from how the DIGs at the national level are working together. Now, those people, the court users committees at the devolved units down there will not work together if they think the Chief Justice cannot see eye to eye with the Speaker of National Assembly or with the President or with the Minister of Interior and so forth. So we need to sort our problems here so that they know down there that accountability, we expect accountability from them down there. And that's the same. If the IG is not seeing eye to eye with the chair of IPOA, there's no way the police officer down there will cooperate with the IPOA officers during investigations, and the same. So we need to foster close working relationships. Number two is that there is lack of honest feedback, you know, and we need to sort this issue. I want to challenge the judiciary to do what I did, you know, and call for, I went for 48 meetings across the county, and OCSs were telling us to the face. You know, some of them telling, Ministry, you have failed us. IG, you have failed us. The IG was being told to the face, how can you transfer somebody to Tana River and stay there for 15 years? How can you punish officers? How is the police station like this? How can you give us only fuel, 450 liters, and expect us to serve them? To the face. And some of the things now we are working on, the reforms, came from the stakeholders from the ground. Citizens in this Jukwaa la Usalama Forum were telling the OCSs, they were even telling us openly, this OCS is very corrupt. You know, this one, it takes bribes. And others were saying, please don't transfer this OCS. It's one of our best OCSs in this area. And some of the changes IG has done is as a result of this direct interaction. I want to dare the judiciary to hold only 1, 2, 3 public barazas in every county. You will be shocked, Chief Justice. I want you to take one day, call a big baraza in somewhere in Laikipia, and sit down and tell Wananchi, 1,000 people, just talk about judiciary here. You will be shocked about the feedback, and it will help you to make things better. The reason why in the past we have not made progress in the security sector and the judicial sector is because we have shrouded it in ministry. We clothe ourselves and say security is very, is a very guarded area. We can't just parade the IG out there. It is important for us to look for honest feedback from the members of public. Number 3 is that we must face corruption directly and on the face. We should not hide. The question of corruption is in all the sectors. There are magistrates who are corrupt, there are judges who are corrupt, there are police officers who are corrupt, there are prison officers who are corrupt, there are ministers who are corrupt, there are PSs who are corrupt, and we need to face it openly without hiding and defending our places. And then the underfunding thing is cross-cutting across. The judiciary is underfunded. The police are underfunded. Some of police stations are too old. They are not functioning. We don't have vehicles that are serving the magistrates and so forth. And that's serving the judiciary, the administrators, and many, many others. So it is something that I agree entirely with the report that, with the report that there is underfunding. And you know why? During budget cuts, and this parliament should hear this, the places quickly where we lose money is this sector, because their money they don't look like a road, a water sector, a budget. Their budget looks like, training. They say cut training first. Then we come back and say our police officers during Mandamana, they are unable to manage the crowd. But you removed their training money. They've never been trained for 10 years on how to handle crowd. They don't know how to do this. Capacity building and many other issues. So our money look like soft resources, but that are extremely important in this sector to maintain law and order. Please, Parliament, let's work together with the Treasury to make sure this is sorted. We also realize that we need to discuss this bail terms issue and the operationalization of Article 49 properly. There are cases where people are being held that should be released, but in most cases we feel from our side that people are being released who should be held, especially people dealing with gangs, drugs, trafficking, persons, and gender-based violence and defilement. From our Jukwaa la Usalama, many citizens think that suspects for defilement, because they are either chiefs, they are teachers, they are pastors, they are influential people in society. They should be held in remand as they weigh their decisions. And I think this is a discussion the judiciary needs to apply their mind, especially when it's drugs and it is, I'll conclude one more, but let me say this story. ACC, which is Assistant County Commissioner, previously a DO, told us in Makueni that they arrested a serious drug trafficker, took him to court. The public were very happy. They even praised and celebrated the administrators and the police. But the next day, the magistrate, I think, sentenced to community service, the suspect to community service. And then, you know what happened? He was posted to come and work around the ACC's building. So when wananchi passed around, they said, kumbe ule mtu tulishika, huyu anaenda kupigia chakula huyu dio kwa kwake. They never understood that they were serving community service. It's something we need to discuss and work on. And lastly, digitization is a sector that many Kenyans really appreciate. The judiciary want to congratulate you, Chief Justice. You are ahead of the rest. And that's why we are working very hard in the prisons. We lost lives in between the road between Baragoi and Maralal because prisoners were being taken to court in a situation where perhaps if it was a virtual court, we would have avoided because the road was already dangerous with bandits on the way. And it is important to note that digitization will make a big difference. We're working with the police service to make sure that we have digital OB, the instant finding system, and so forth. This is a subject that also this committee should work on. I think if I continue reading this page, I'll take too much time, and you will not like me on my first day. Let me say that I'm very happy to be here. I look forward to a stronger partnership between this ministry and yourselves, and let's work together. I think, as my last closing remarks, I think, and this is for our judges, I think a judge, and being a member of this profession, is properly trained and sufficiently confident, doesn't fear even sitting with the president, doesn't fear sitting with that opposition leader, because they know that they are guided by the law when they make their decision. But this idea that if you see the Chief Justice sitting with the president or sitting with a leader of opposition, they are having a chat, you make an assumption that, they are already compromised. It's the very reason why people are closing themselves in different areas, because they fear that if they sit in a particular place, they will be compromised. That is the same reason why the president of the Law Society of Kenya ran away from this committee to solve problems, because as soon as her name came out, they say she's been compromised. We cry that we want justice for the victims, for people who are downtrodden. And when we pick people like the president of the Law Society of Kenya to come there and resolve those issues they have been criticizing government for, then we're criticizing them for being there to act. And I think it is unfortunate. We need to make sure that we are properly trained as lawyers to interact with anybody, including across the, a lawyer for the defendant and for the applicant are always taking tea together. And so why not? Why can judiciary and the executive and the legislature sit down and thrash out issues that will promote justice in our country? I thank you. God bless you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, did you know that the NCAJ was established in 2011 under Section 34 of the Judicial Service Act? It was formally launched on the 11th of August 2011, and it provides that the Chief Justice shall be the chair of the NCAJ, and it is for a reason. The Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. She is also the head of the NCAJ, and she's the chair of the Judicial Service Commission. Particularly as the head of the judiciary, because the role of the judiciary in a democracy is to uphold the Constitution and to protect the rights and liberties of the people by impartially resolving disputes and ensuring that laws are applied fairly. It acts as a check on the executive and the legislature. And I'm sure wherever the Chief Justice is speaking wearing those three hats, Kenyans would like to know from me whether the judiciary has lived to that expectation. I have served with you because you chair me in the NCAJ, you chair me in the JSC, and you also are the head of the judiciary, and I'm the titular head of the bar. I know a few things about you. You are passionate about legal aid, and you have told us to work with the civil society and the law society, because nobody can give legal aid alone. Secondly, you are passionate about decentralization. You have housed the DPP in some areas and the OAG. You are also passionate about children and women, and that is why we are piloting children in conflict with the law. You are also passionate about alternative justice and leveraging on technology. But above all, which some people don't know, you are passionate about supporting women leaders. You have spoken to us many times. You have inculcated into us simplicity, integrity, and transparency, which we all thrive to live in. Since I will not speak again, I know many of us are Christians. I am a Christian myself. And every day I wake up, I ask God to help me to endeavor to honor him by the choices that I make. And I'm sure you do the same. Welcome, CJ.
Thank you very much. Please, may we be seated. Thank you, the Honorable Attorney General, for that very kind introduction. Thank you, our very special guest this morning, read by our Honorable Deputy Speaker. Thank you, our CS. Thank you, all the speakers this morning, our very, very distinguished guests. I recognize all of you for being here and the work you do to make the wheels of justice move. A very good afternoon, everybody. Oh, wow, we are so honored to have all of you and for the wonderful, wonderful speeches that underscore the need for our continued collaboration in the quest for justice. As I sat there, I wondered, what am I going to say? Because our special guests have spoken to the topic and to the need for us to continue working together. And we have come a long way.